Welcome, guys. So it's about time we will start. Thank you for joining. So we want to use this forum to welcome everyone to this session. It's our second episode of the Diaspora Dialogue, where we discuss migrant memoir and realities. But today, our conversation will be focused on three specific areas: cultural differences, personal and professional growth, and loneliness. We are going to be discussing these three areas, and we would see how we could address these challenges, including the triumph of Africans or Black people all over the world. And we have uh, Ruth with us. I know a lot who are online eagerly they are eager to meet you, Ruth. So could you please introduce yourself?
So my name is Ruth. I'm a student based in Australia.
Thank you. Well, welcome to the session, and thank you for having this conversation with us today. And the conversation this afternoon will be centered on frustrations, desires, and fears of African migrants. So we want to take the first one, the frustration, and that would be cultural differences. So Ruth, I would want to maybe in a way of starting the conversation, I would like to ask you, what are some cultural differences you have noticed here so far?
Well, I would say food because not in terms of like because here in Australia you can find African food, different types. But what I mean when I say food, let me say like how people eat is different from back home in Nigeria. Like let me say breakfast. Breakfast, everybody knows breakfast is your cereal, is your toast, So it's as if I don't know, there's not like a book, there's not like a law that everybody should eat that way, but I mean that's how people eat here. They do eat light. So yeah, breakfast. And I'm not used to that kind of lifestyle because back home it's eat anything, like you wake up in the morning, you can take your gari, you go see soup, So here people eat more light food like breakfast and all that. So which is I don't know, so you just have to join them because you're looking different. If in the morning you want to maybe eat jollof rice or something, so you look different. So yeah, I mean, I found that kind of I felt different in that aspect. Then in terms of body type or shape or anyhow, how would I even put it? Let me say body structure. When it comes to like people who are slim are seen to be healthy people. Like if you're slim, people look at you like you're a very healthy person. While back home, if you're maybe you're fat, it's like you're everything. But here, slim is healthy. Yeah. So everybody is aiming, towards that kind of body shape. You understand? Yeah. So another thing, different that I noticed is how people call people by their names, irrespective of their age. You can see someone who is, let me say, in their 90s, and people just call them John, Michael, And I'm not used to coming from Nigeria, it's maybe Sir or Ma, and all that. So, it's one thing I found uncomfortable, but gradually, yeah, day by day, I got used to it. Yeah, so I think that is the thing. Those are the cultural differences that I make.
Very, very interesting. So now, maybe just to ask, how were you able to deal with this when you first arrived? Um, how was it? How were you able to adjust to the cultural shock until uh,
Mm, adjusting is, I think, just try as much. I just tried as much as I could to just fix myself, like like just do it. Like people are doing this particular thing, it's not wrong. Like when I mentioned the food aspect, it's like, or like calling people by their names. It's like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that upbringing and all those respect, you know. So just do it. That was how I cope. Like do it if it's right. Just do
yeah,
it.
true,
Yeah.
true. So could you share a specific experience whereby cultural difference was a significant challenge to you? Is there any time? Is there any particular time where cultural difference was a challenge for you to be able to deal with throughout your stay? So
No, I can't really. Yeah, I can't really remember any experience, but I would say the only challenge I had, like just a small challenge, is calling people by their names. Yeah, that was. Sometimes like I force myself, like it's like Michael, it's like because this person
yeah,
with gray hair, I mean, I'm calling him Michael, and it's so. I think that was the only experience. I can't really remember any other experience. Yeah.
that's okay still. Now we want to look at the desires whereby most Africans may have on their art journey, right? And today we want to mention personal and professional growth. So for you, and tell me, what do you think personal and professional growth in a new environment, in a new country mean for you? What would you say personal and professional growth mean to you?
Well, I would have said being the best, but if I said that, that would mean like that can put pressure on people, like just people trying to put in their best. They might go like extreme or try to, maybe if they fail, that might really affect them. So I would say not really being the best, but upgrading. I would say thriving. I would say adjusting. Those are the watchwords I will use for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. And like we know, I think most of the reasons why people want to be great to be able to grow professionally, right? You see people take on more courses, people take on more skills, people acquire more skills in order that they could progress on that ladder, maybe personal or professional ladder. They just want to grow higher. So yes, it's majorly one of the things that make people want to migrate. So now we want to ask in all of these things that happen abroad, do you think there could be fears embedded within this ladder of or the voyage of growth, growing personally or growing professionally in a new environment? Do you think there are challenges somewhere there while people want to grow professionally or personally? Could there be challenges or constraints to achieving this?
Yeah, I think just one of the fears I would mention is the fear of not having the right information at the right time, you know, because this can hinder be professional and personal growth, being in a foreign land, new culture, new everything, and information is really key. Information is power because you don't want to be caught not doing the right thing at the right time. So I think that's one of my fear. So yeah, keep up to date. Yeah.
Yeah. But for you, what would be your suggestion or your idea to help others? You know, being the fact that we understand that you have taken on a new uh, profession for your growth. What would be your suggestion for others to be able to cope with such like challenges like you have mentioned?
Yeah, I would say it's just, you know, like, because for the response I gave earlier, the yeah, how to, like, let me say the opposite of that, like, is to stay informed, just so you don't what's the word, just so maybe you're not in touch with information, so stay informed, like, go to the different platforms, meet people, ask questions like why, who, where, which, how, don't be shy or ashamed of asking questions. So, I mean, just always dig for information. Don't feel like you're looking like a fool asking questions. Yeah, so ask so many questions if you don't know. Yeah.
But maybe just to linger a bit about this professional and personal growth, do you also see fear of failing as something that could be a challenge for others? Like I am switching my career in a new environment. Do you think as a migrant, as a black person in a new environment, I might also have that fear of failing as a challenge?
Yeah, yeah, you can have, because you're here for a particular reason. So, and you want to come and let it be worth it. You understand? Like, you're here, let's be here and achieve what you're here for. Yeah, so people can have that fear of failure. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that if you fail, like, you have lost the race. Let me put it that way. Yeah, it's not that deep. Yeah.
So we want to take that and move forward. However, we know that whatever it may be, Africans who are out there may be facing different challenges. However, they just have to move forward, um, continue be consistent, right? Like Ruth said, you should make sure you grab so many information as much as you can, and also stay informed. Also, I also think I got networking from what you said. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's part of it.
So maybe likely we are going to proceed now to the third point of our conversation, which comes under fears, being the fact that we just spoke about succeeding in a new profession. Uh, Fear could come as such one of the challenges of that. So looking at fears, but this time we will be talking of loneliness as a single individual in a new environment. This cannot be overemphasized, which is a very important aspect which happened. It actually takes my mind back to some few months ago. I don't know if you saw that booth, whereby a young Nigerian who is in Canada came on TikTok. Yeah, if I'm correct. I stand to be corrected. Though, came on TikTok to complain that she was literally lonely. You have to leave your home, leave your family, leave your loved ones, and when you get to Canada, you have to get up to 2, 3 jobs to stay on top of the game, on top of your game. In connection to that, loneliness, she literally cried on line. So loneliness in a new environment, and as a single person, what would be your comments?
Mm, can you repeat that
What
question
would be your
again?
comment? Loneliness, single person in a new environment. What is that to you?
Mm,
What would be your comment?
yeah, I would say, yeah, people do get lonely. Being single, yeah, people do get lonely, but I would also say, loneliness is still not about being it's not, you can be anywhere and be lonely, Yeah, so it's the loneliness, what brings loneliness is idleness. Like, for you to be lonely, you have to be idle. So yeah, once in a while, it's on a personal ground. Yes, once in a while I do feel lonely, but it's not about where I am currently. It's just that it's part of being a human being. That once in a while, and if you're single, it's okay, it's once in a while something. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's really, really true, and we understand that. So, how do you deal with this? How do you cope at such times when these feelings come? What do you do to?
Okay, so personally, I occupy my mind and I get busy. I occupy my mind. I listen to music. I read one or two books, and that's it. Like, I don't know. The thing is about the loneliness issue is you cannot get a solution, like ASAP. There's no ASAP solution. Like, if you're single and you're lonely, you cannot get married in 30 seconds. So if you don't have that immediate solution to your loneliness, so what do? You just get busy, do accept the fact that you're lonely, and I'm sorry, not lonely, like you're single, yes, and you cannot do anything immediately about it. And so yeah, so live life, like do your normal activities, yeah. So that's how I
So,
cope.
are there particular
Yeah.
activities you do to take your mind away? Do you try to interact more, network?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I did mention about the music one because I really love music personally. Like, I love to listen to different, genres of music. And I think there are some things that I plan on doing, and there are things that I maybe take a walk, I take a walk sometimes. I just maybe chill out somewhere. Maybe I just, sometimes when people are out here, because you feel like, oh, I can't go out and just sit out somewhere on my own. I will look weird and all that. No, so sometimes just I go sit out somewhere, maybe take ice cream. Just do it. Do it for yourself. So yeah, I do that. Maybe I might just go to maybe to buy something. I might just say, okay, let me just sit down here and just buy one cup of ice cream. Yeah, I do that. Just very little things. It's not as if you need to go and climb mountain and do, no, it's not. It doesn't have to be that. So little things that you can do for yourself and very affordable. Yes, we see people going on vacations and all. That's also very important. If you have the money, you go see places. You understand? Yeah, go see beauty. There are beautiful places to see here in Australia. So yeah, if wherever you are, I say yeah, go see places. Yeah.
But would you compare this to when you were back home? Where do you think
Mm-hmm.
there was a time where you were very lonely that you really found yourself not wanting to be around people? Or do you think loneliness back home is better because I think the cultural, the cuisine, everything that you're very used to, the people you're familiar with, right? And the people you've grown up with over time. Do you think it's way better home to be home and not be alone, like extensively be lonely, or maybe would you say loneliness outside of home is weird, like it's more complicated than being home?
Well, the only thing that can make loneliness outside of home weird is not you not accepting that this is a foreign land. People are not supposed to do things the way where you're coming from. People do things differently. So if you're in a foreign land, you don't expect, if you accept it that this is a foreign place and people are not supposed to act like where I'm coming from. I think that should also help. So it's not weird. It's only weird when you think it is weird. But it's weird because it's not, I won't say weird, I'll just say it's different. Different is the word. So being in a different country experiencing loneliness is because you feel like things that are happening around you are not the things you're familiar with. I would say it's just the mind. This is a foreign land. This is how people here do things, and I have to find my own personal way of fitting in or helping myself. Like, how do I, how do I occupy my mind? Yeah. So back home too, loneliness is like I said when I said earlier on that you can experience loneliness anywhere. It's still the same thing. Look for what works for you. Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
So you mentioned mind, and that made me wonder: would you say that loneliness in a new environment can affect a migrant's mental health? Would you say loneliness being alone
Ah,
can affect mental health? Being able to, get involved in the activities happening around the new environment and still, you know,
hmm, affecting mental health. Um, I would say I don't want to say a yes or no answer to this question because I feel like it still depends on me. For you to be lonely and be that affected to affect for it to affect your mental health, then it is the individual that has drowned himself or herself in their circumstance. You understand? So I can't say yes or no. It's just the individual because for you to say, "Oh no, I'm lonely, I'm this," and then it starts affecting you mentally. Then it's really a personal thing. Yeah.
so what would you say? What would you give as a word of advice in a final way, or like what would you say as a word of advice for those migrants outside home country in a new environment, working hard to deal with loneliness? Coming from someone who's already in Australia for a couple of time, and how you've been able to deal with it so far.
Hmm. Is it like just
Yeah,
loneliness or
loneliness,
like?
loneliness. What would you say? What have worked for you? Going out to black other Africans, other migrants in diaspora. What what has worked for you in connection to loneliness?
Yeah, I would say be open. Sometimes we feel like we are more, our mind is closed because we feel like, oh no, or like I saw one video one time when somebody said, when you're in a foreign land, try to make friends, meet people. Don't feel like you're only supposed to associate with people that is your color or people who think the way you think. So I feel like one way to combat that is opening your mind, meet people from different places. Like Australia here is a very diverse, you can meet people from different parts of the world here. So like it's an opportunity to get to know people from different African countries, from different other sides of the world. So open your mind, accept people, there's all this there's no about, just open your mind. When you meet somebody, fresh page, get to know them, help yourself, like take yourself out, you know in the it doesn't matter, no matter how little, you might just go out to take maybe like a cup of ice cream, like I said initially. Those little things that will make you happy, you know? Yeah, and sometimes people feel like, okay, this small $1 now, we save it, I'll use it and buy, you know, save. Sometimes that will just remove small thing for you, you know, help yourself small. What are you saving? So I mean, that's just it though. Just no matter how small, make yourself happy. Don't drown in your loneliness. Me, it's easier said than done. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Because we are all imperfect. Sometimes we find ourselves so low, so down. Different things happen, you know. But at the same time, that's just it. As I'm advising, I'm also advising myself. So yeah. So yeah, that's
All
it.
right. Thank you so much, and we are very excited. We were able to have you, and we understand that the time there right now is almost about 12:30 a.m. So thank you for the sacrifice, and it's always an interesting discussion because like we said before, this is now to our friends online. We said before, we are on a mission to empower individuals with authentic travel narrative that will showcase the diverse of Afrocentric experiences of. This is our goal because these are conversations people are not we are not hearing, conversations we are not having. So from all highs and lows, we are out with a vision, and our vision is to empower all of you out there with awareness. We want you to come across the stories, these diverse Afrocentric travel experiences from individuals all around the world. Most importantly, we also want to ensure that we foster a community of friends around the world, a community of Afrocentric travelers around the world who we who are willing to share their experiences, tell you about their sacrifices, talk about their triumph, and also their migration journey. So it's always an exciting thing to have each and every one of us. Today we had Ruth. She has happily shared her own part of story. And we have a comment from Sila Nature saying this is super interesting and encouraging. Thank you, Sila Nature. We are also encouraged.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. This would be a time where we
Thanks
will.
for having me.
Pardon, can you say that again?
I said thanks for
Yeah, you're
having me.
welcome. Always a pleasure. Pleasure is ours. So we look forward to having another session, hopefully in the future, while we will say bye-bye for now. And do have a wonderful
Yeah, bye.
bye.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you, everyone, for time.